it is not inconceivable to think that both Lady and the Tramp were made out of balloons. Sorry about that. What's up, everybody? Eric here, Tabletop Haven, coming at you with an exciting one. Something I've never done before and will never do it. No, I'll do it again. But not this particular one, but I've never done it before. I've never done a top 10 list, and I am excited because this is my top games of 2022. They're all new to me in 2022. I think technically one or two of them might not be 2022 games. They might be, I think one of them might be a 2019 that I just played now, just heard about in the past year, but whatever, it's fine. So, anyway, let's get it started with number 10. My number 10 was a bit of a surprise. It kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. And then I heard about it, and there was a version earlier that I cared 0% about, and then this one I kind of heard about and got a little bit of buzz, and some people liked it, and so I was like, I'll check it out because I am a fan of the IP to an extent, but the game, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. The Clone Wars. Well, if you count I think the second movie was called The Clone Wars. It might have been the worst of all of them. I haven't seen the ninth, but it might have been the worst. Like, I was not a fan. Now, I heard the show is pretty good. I think I watched maybe the first season of the cartoon. But regardless, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, a pandemic system game. So, what does that mean? It's got the feel of pandemic. You're moving around, you're doing things, and bad things are happening. You're trying to deal with the bad things. But the cool thing is you're dealing with bad things in a much more interesting way in this game than regular pandemic. I am fine with pandemic. Pandemic Legacy, I love. Love, 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 love. But this takes the pandemic system in it. It turns it on its head a little bit. The core elements are there. You're still every turn escalating things and perhaps creating a epidemic, and things get reshuffled in and you're dealing with more nonsense. But in this one, you are running around and you're fighting bad guys, and you are a cool character, cool Jedi running around. What I like about this one, first things first, is instead of just being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take off, a disease cube from this, you get to roll dice. Rolling dice is cool. I like it. And so what that does is it gives it an element of chance. You can have a real big attack, you can have a smaller attack, but then you also have lots of cards that are going to supplement different things. Supplement your movement, supplement your attacks, let you aid, help other people and help other Jedis across the galaxy. It's really good. It's really fun. And I think just the few things that the few things they changed in this game, I think really elevated it from like a pandemic to like this is a good game. Like, Clone Wars is a real good game. It's a lot of fun. There's multiple different bad guys you can fight. You got like Count Dooku, you have Darth Maul, you have General Grievous, you have someone that I don't know, but like Count Ventus or some Ventus, I don't know, evil Jedi person that I don't know, that's probably from the TV show. But yeah, so you're running around and they all do different things and they have different ways they operate. They all have their own deck of action cards that are going to supplement what they do every round, and then you got to deal with it. And in the meantime, you're having to deal with missions. You have to complete the missions before you can fight the bad. It's just really good. It's a lot of fun. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, I think, is a very, very solid game. I believe it came out in 2022, so hey, one for one. Let's go. But yeah, that is my number 10, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, a pandemic system. I think it's great. All right. Number 9. Number 9 is one of the ones that was talked about in kind of this trifecta of games, this triangle of games that has introduced a whole a whole new gaming system world that we couldn't believe. It's deck building and worker placement, two of the biggest mechanisms together in one. First, we had Dune Imperium, then we have Lost Ruins of Arnak, and then my number 9, Endless Winter. Now, to be fair, I think those comparisons are not disingenuous, but all three of those games are quite different in the way they operate. Yes, they have deck building. Yes, they have worker placement. Arguably, well, they all do things in a different way. This is probably closer to Arnak, which I think I prefer to Dune Imperium, but they both are cool and good, and even this one is different enough that you can have all three in your collection and not have to worry about, like, oh, I just played this game, but it was an Indiana Jones version, or I played this game in the Dune universe, or I played this game in the snow. No, 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 no. The thing I love about Endless Winter, and to be fair, this one I've only played solo. I've only played the solo mode of it. So potentially with multiplayer game, more plays, this could have been higher on my list because I really, really like what it does. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game. It's worker placement, but when you place your worker, you don't take up a spot. If you're the first one there, you get a little bonus action. So realistically, the worker placement in this it's almost action selection-ish more than worker placement, because you're not really taking a spot that someone can't go to. So in that way, it's much different. But then it also just has the kitchen sink in it. There is area control. There is huge tracks that you're going up. There's this kind of weird board that you're like it's not area control, but you're claiming different parts, and then you can earn parts monoliths by building on other, and it's just, you get a lot of stuff. The one thing in this game that trips me up a little bit is it's very, very backloaded on victory points. So you can do a lot of things during the game and kind of feel like, I'm not earning a lot of points. Like, I have like 10 points in round 2 or round 3. But then, like, by the end of the game, you're like over 100 points. So it's very heavily backloaded for points, which is fine. It's just, I think I would like, I don't know. I feel like I would like it a little better if I felt like I was getting more during the game, even though it really doesn't matter because you are getting the points ultimately. But the payoff, you got to wait for the payoff. But I think the system they use for the solo version it's pretty smooth. It's really easy to run. And I got the base Kickstarter version that came with this. I did not the Ancestors expansion. Very simple to add in. Just adds extra cards for your deck building capabilities. And the deck building in it, I think, is interesting. There's 2 different varieties. You can get new people that you add. There's like shamans and I think warrior. I don't know. I don't remember what they are, but they add little interesting things, and they're all do things a little bit differently. But yeah, my number 9, Endless Winter, I think is fantastic. I do want to get it played multiplayer because I could think it would be even better, like a little bit more tension, a little bit more. Granted, like the tension with the worker placement is not necessarily there, but getting that extra bonus is really nice. And so if you had other people competing for that, you might be more inclined to go to other spaces you wouldn't to get the bonus from the other spaces. I don't know. Anyway, Endless Winter is great. It was kind of in that triumvirate of Dune Imperium, Lost Ruins, and then this one, but I think they're all very different and can hold their own in any collection by themselves. So, Endless Winter, my number 9 game of 20. Also, a 2022 game. 2 for 2. All right. Number 8. Number 8 was a big surprise for me. This game I saw and wrote off completely. It's a solo only game, which is fine by me. I play a decent amount of games solo, so having a solo game, that doesn't bother me at all. But it wasn't interesting to me. I was like, what? I don't get the appeal. I heard, oh, it came out to rave reviews. This might actually be a 2021 release. I'm not positive. I don't know. It might be 2022, 2020. It's on the border, so I'm going to give myself 3 for 3, even though I don't really know. But this one is Final Girl. What ultimately persuaded me to get Final Girl was the price. And you can get, I mean, this is the core game, which you need to play the other game. But then there is the, like, standalone little adventures that you can play. Movies, they're supposed to be like movies. And this one is Creech Manor, which is like a haunted house. But regardless, they're $20 a piece, right? Well, I get 30% off at my local game store. So $14. This gets me $28 to get me started. So I got 3 to get me started. I got this, and then I think 2 intro, or 2 boxes. I got the camp one, and I got the camp one, and I got the Geppetto at the carnival. I got the carnival one. Those were the first 2 I got. And I was like, okay, let's try it out. Worst case scenario, it's popular. I can sell it. It's fine. Well, I'm not selling it. It's great. It's the card play in it is fantastic. Essentially, what you're doing in this game is you are the final girl in your typical horror movie where there's a big bad guy and you're the last lone surviving female. It's always female. Who's got to somehow figure out a way to take him down. So each board has its own final girls included. There's 2 final girls in each box, and then there's a location, and then there's a bad guy. And then you can mix and match those. So you could fight the Geppetto from the carnival, you could fight in the haunted house, and mix and match them any way you want, which is cool. I haven't done that yet because I haven't needed to. But then you have a hand of cards, and your cards are going to allow you to do certain things. You can move, you can search, and then you're going to be rolling dice, and depending on the outcome of your dice, the action is either better or worse depending on your successes and your failures. And there is a bit of mitigation. And I thought when I first started this game, it came with the first board. It has like your starting board, and then it has like a horror side that's like a difficult side. And I'm like, why would you even have that in the game? There's no way I'm ever going to play a difficult version of this game. It's not going to happen. Guess what? I've played it like a few times, and I'm like, I'm intrigued. Not that the game is easy, but I've found myself being like, okay, I could maybe take this up a notch. And that's exciting. That's exciting to know that there is more to explore in this world. So yeah, so I got the 2 initial ones, and needless to say, yep, they're still coming. I got all 5. This is season 1. Season 2 came out. I don't think I need it at this point, although I said I didn't need this. We'll see, but I think this is going to be enough for me. I also got the miniature pack because I like to paint miniatures, and I think it's going to add a little bit. I did not get the playmats for it. I could have, but I heard they just take up too much table space, and you can get this pretty condensed down into a pretty small, tight window if you want. So, yeah, my number 8 was Final Girl. It's fantastic. If I play it more, it could definitely shoot up this list. And I think at 22, I'm going 3 for 3. All right. Number 7. Number 7 is a monster. Literally and figuratively. Hold on a second here. Okay. Here we go. We got it. Oath sworn into the deep wood. This game is a beast, and it's a real good beast. This is my number 7, and how this game operates is essentially in 2 phases. You have the town phase. You're going around the town. There's a big problem going on. Oh my gosh, My son has been missing for 3 years. You gotta save him. 3 days or something. I don't know, but I found his ear in my basement. You gotta help me. So then you gotta go around town. What's going on? Does anyone else know what's going on? Have you heard about this? Oh my gosh, that kid's ear is missing too? That's wild. Holy moly, why are all these ears missing? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So then you're running around town, you're trying to figure it out. Eventually you figure out, that's what's causing the problem. We gotta kill this thing. We gotta destroy it. And Sworn into the Deepwood is after you go through the town phase, you are then going to go and fight this big bad guy. And I'm not going to say that's where the game is, because the town phase is also very fun, but this is where like the combat happens. This is where a lot of like the thinky in the beginning, you get to make a lot of cool decisions. You might roll some checks here and there, but you're just kind of going around and exploring. And then comes the big fight, and it's cool. It's a hex grid based system, and then all the characters have different abilities based on their classes, and they have stronger abilities and weaker abilities. If you use a stronger ability, it's going to take you longer to get it back, versus if you use one of your weaker abilities, you'll get it back sooner. And so it's a very clever manipulation of how you can get those cards back and how you can use them to the most effectiveness with the other players in your party. I played this game at 2 and only 2. I am through 3 scenarios, so I've played 3 town phases and 3 fight phases. All the fights have been drastically different. The monsters are extremely cool. I've painted all the big monsters because I think it's fun to have these big monsters that you are killing. And yeah, this is another one. It's kind of weird saying like, oh, this could climb, they could all climb. But this one is, if I play it more, it potentially could climb. I ran into a story issue. I don't want to say issue. Minor spoilers. Minor spoiler alert here. There's a point where you have a big decision to make. And ultimately, big decision was made. And out of curiosity, I was like, okay, what if we had made a different decision? Well, it really wouldn't have mattered. Like, the big decision, it felt kind of like a gut punch, because like it's a dramatic thing that happens, and it really wouldn't have needed to, like, it there was no benefit or negative for, well, there was a negative, but there was no benefit for it happening. There was no like payoff. It was just, we were kind of playing it how RP wise, how would our characters deal with this situation? We dealt with it how we felt, and ultimately it didn't matter. And that's kind of annoying. And so, whereas I think this game could go up in the future, I think this game could go higher. I am a little worried that if they do more of that story things where they try and make these big impacts, but then ultimately it doesn't matter, I think that would kind of frustrate me a little bit. But regardless, Sworn into the Deepwood is a fantastic game, and my number 7 of also 2022 game. 4 for 4. Let's go. All right, number 6. Number 6, again, I don't know. This is another borderline one, so I'm probably just going to give it to myself, because why not? Number 6 is a fun, clever little game that uses a pretty cool card selection. I don't know, card selection. It's Meadow. Meadow is my number 6. Meadow is great. So the idea behind this game is you're competing to take the best nature walk. What'd you see? Oh my gosh, you saw a butterfly? That's awesome. I saw a bird eating a butterfly. Oh wow, cool. I saw this cool bird, and there was this weird cottage I found in the woods, and that was cool, and it was like covered in ivy, and and then I found this like little thing on. So you're kind of like taking a nature walk and documenting your nature walk. But where I think this game is super cool is you have a grid of 4x4 of cards, different cards that have different animals on them, different plants, different things that you can acquire or see during your nature walk. But the way it works is each side of the board, sides and bottom of the board, has like a little arrow, and you have to put your action selection. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wild. So if you put your 4 along the bottom, you're going to take the card that's the 4th up from that spot. Same thing if you put it from the side, you're going to take the card 4 over, or vice versa. If you put your 2 there, you're going to go 2 over. But then they also have the reverse side of the selectors has like a little special ability that if you decide to use it at the camp, it can give you a special ability. Take any card you want from the board, or play 2 cards from your hand. And so you're just kind of going around and collecting up and collecting, and then your cards have to match the ones below it. So let's say you buy a bird. In order to play the bird out, you might need a bug, because the bird eats bugs. So then your card below it has to have a bug symbol, and then you cover that bug symbol with your bird. Now you have a bird symbol. Well, now you might have something that needs a bird, and then you cover it. So I mean, it's just a real good, it's tableau building, I guess, not engine building, but you just it's not sec you just kind of it's just chill, it's just good, it's just a lot of fun. Meadow I've had a ton of fun with. I've had a lot of success at 2, 3, 4 player counts. I think I played it at all of those player counts and been extremely happy with it and had a good time. And so, yep, that's my number 6, Meadow. I think it is fantastic. Number 5 is the first one that I know for sure is not a 2022 game. I'm giving myself 5 for 5 on the other ones. Meadow, I don't know. But this one I think was 2019. But I first heard about it and first played it in 2022. And so it's on my 2022 list because I want it to be. And I think it's great. So this is a game that when I heard about it, sounded kind of interesting. It's got that kind of gambling feel to it. I played a lot of cards and a lot of poker with my family growing up. I haven't played poker or that much like in a long time, but I still kind of like the feel of it, and this game gives you the feel of it, and it's called Las Vegas Royale. This game, man, this game is just fun. That's what it boils down to. This game is a ton of fun. It's a dice placement game. You have 6 casinos in the center of the table. Think about a 6-sided dice. So casino 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On your turn, you're going to roll your pool of dice, and you have to assign some number of dice to one of the casinos. So let's say you roll 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and 2 5s. You have to assign either the 2s, 3s, 4s, or 5s, but you have to assign all of them. So you'd have to take both of your 2s or both of your 3s and put them into that casino. You can't just pick one. And so then they go there, people goes around, it gets back to you. Now you're going to roll those 6 dice that you have left. Then any number of those have to go in the proper casino. And then each casino has a payout for the first and second place there. So if you put 2 dice in a casino, it's going to give it, you're going to have essentially 2 power at that casino towards the final competition. If you have 4 dice there, there's also a big dice that counts as 2, but whatever. So let's say ultimately you have 3 and your competitor has 2. You're going to win the best, you're going to win the most money there, they're going to win the second most. However, where the game kicks it into gear is if there's a tie, those cancel out. So if I have 3, the next person has 3, and this person only has 1, our 3s cancel out, and that 1 gets the top prize. So that's one thing that's kind of when you're figuring it out, like that's a cool thing that you're dealing with. But where the game's magic really happens is at each casino you can put little mini games. So anytime you place dice at that casino, you're going to play a little mini game. It might be where if you invest 5 dice into this area, you're going to automatically get $100,000. Like boom, if you're the first one to put 5 dice there, $100,000, it's yours, no questions asked. $100,000 is a good amount of money in this game. So, and then you're very, very likely going to win whatever the top prize at that casino is too. Or there might be one where it's kind of like a betting type system, where if you put your dice in there, you have to roll, and if you get 7 roll a 7 or doubles, you win the jackpot there. But if you don't, the jackpot goes up. So someone goes there next. Oh, they didn't get it either. Jackpot goes up. So it's incentivizing you to go to that place to try and win more money. And just there's like I want to say 12 to 16 different mini games that you can put on there. You can make them more kind of mean spirited, or you can make them just fun. I tend to gravitate towards the fun. But yeah, Las Vegas Royale, I think, is fantastic. And I know it didn't come out in 2022, but it is easy to put this on my 2022 favorites list, because I think it's a fantastic game and it's new to me in 2022. So yeah, and it's my list. And hey, that's cool. Las Vegas Royale, my number 5. Number four, Polyomino game. Polyomino games to me have been a bit of a roller coaster. Baron Park was the king of the world. Baron Park is the best thing ever. Oh my gosh, gotta get Baron. I got Baron Park. I thought it was fine. Like, borderline fine. Like, near that, it wasn't as bad as Splendor, where it was just like, whoa, okay, why am I even playing this? But I mean, I was very okay with it. Then Isle of Cats came along, and Isle of Cats I liked better than Baron Park. Like, I thought it was more interesting. I thought the solo mode in Isle of Cats was good, was fun, well done. But when you played it multiplayer, and you like, the economy of the game is a bit not bad, but it's like it's kind of tight, and it doesn't let you exactly, it doesn't exactly feel like you're doing as much as you want to do in the game. But I enjoyed it more than Baron Park, and I enjoy it, and it's got a decent family version of, like, family rules, which is you don't deal with the economy, and so. But then it kind of takes it to that Baron Park level where you're just kind of like, okay, it's fine, it's okay, it is what it is. So then I found this guy, Planet Unknown. Planet Unknown is great. It is a polyomino game that, first of all, I've only began to scratch the surface of, and I already love it. So everyone has a planet. Everyone has a corporation in this game. And so your planet is it's a grid, as polyomino games would be. And then there's a lazy Susan in the middle with 6 quadrants. Each quadrant has 2 different possible size pieces and types of pieces. And so you're going to rotate it on your turn to whichever quadrant you want, and then pick one of those. At the same time, whatever quadrant your opponents have, they have to pick one from there, and then you're going to put that onto your board. Pretty cool, pretty simple, but then each tile has 2 different, I'm not going to say resources, 2 different things on it, and what they let you do is go up tracks. So there's like a nature one, there's a tech one, there is like rovers, and so anytime you put one of those pieces down, you're going to go up on the track, and going up the tracks unlocks different things. It unlocks new abilities. It lets you break rules of the game. And I have only played the base game. I've only played with everyone having the same planet and everyone having the same corporation. There are many different planets, there are many different corporations, so everyone can have different things. You might have, your rovers might be crazy, driving all over, collecting meteorites and life pods, or you might be a very water-based corporation. I don't even know, I haven't even looked at all the corporations, but the fact that this has done what it has done for me with polyomino games at the base level has me super excited and super pumped that, yes, there is polyomino games out there that can do it for me and do it well. And Planet Unknown, my number 4, is wonderful and fantastic, and I love everything about it. And I'm so excited to play more of it. Planet Unknown, my number 4. Number 3. Number 3, I did an unboxing of. And during my unboxing, I was drastically underwhelmed. I was like, is this it? This is what you're going to give me? You're going to give me like 50 cards and some chips. Like that's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna. But I heard good things about the game, and I was like, okay, like everybody likes this game, but like there's not much to it. My number 3, Furnace. Furnace, man. Ooh, baby. This is an engine building game, but more than the engine building in Furnace, well, not more, but equal to the engine building in Furnace is the auction system, I guess. So every player has 4 discs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to have a pool of buildings that you can bid on. If you put your 4 on a building, you are guaranteed to get it, because nobody can put, there's no numbers higher than a 4, and no one can put the same number on a building that's already been marked. So if you put a 4 on, you're guaranteed to get it. However, you also guarantee that anyone who puts a disc on there after is going to get resources, because whatever number you put, if you don't win a building, whatever number you put on there, you're going to multiply times that resources. So let's say you get 2 iron. If I put my 4 on that building, someone puts a 3, they're going to get 6 iron. I don't get any iron. I do get the building, but I don't get any of the bonus resources from it. So it creates this very interesting puzzle of like, okay, I really want that card, but I know it's going to give a lot of people resources if I go early. But if I don't go early, someone else could claim that card, in which case then that's going to be bad for my engine. So it's kind of this game of cat and mouse of like, okay, do I put my 3 on there and hope that someone goes over it with a 4 so I can get the resources, or do I put my 3 on there hoping that I can get that building and a 4 building somewhere else and get multiple buildings and then once you get the buildings, then you get to build up your engine. And it's a very simple system. Is you have all your buildings and you just put them in a line and you run them in line. And so the buildings start out, and you can get upgrade tokens, which is going to upgrade the building. So it flips it over and it gives it an extra ability at the bottom. And essentially all you're trying to do is make the most money with your industry. So you're buying buildings and you're making coal into iron, into oil, and trading all those different things at different. Oil is the most lucrative. So if you can get oil and then get cards that you can sell oil for a lot of money, that's going to be good, but it's hard to convert the oil. So, I mean, it's amazing what this can do in as small a package. This box could literally be this big and have all the components in it. The insert is huge and it doesn't need to be, but I heard recently briefly that there's possibly an expansion coming from this. I'm intrigued, although this does what it does very well, and I don't know that it needs more. I also I'm not sure if I played it to death, if it would get samey, but where I'm at right now, this thing is brilliant. It's fantastic. It packs a huge punch for what's in this box, and Furnace is my number 3 of 2022. I think it might actually be a 2022. So, I don't know. What am I at now? 7 for 8, maybe? But regardless, Furnace is fantastic. And one that, despite my initial thoughts, my initial reaction when I unboxed it, I love it. Furnace. Number 3. No, number 2. Number 2. That was number 3. Furnace was number 3. Number 2. Okay. Number 2. Number 2 has got to number 2 despite it trying its best to make me angry. So when I got the starter kit of this game, it was borderline, not even borderline, like pretty much prototype. It was bad. But I fought my way through it, got it set up, got it to the table. It is Soulforge Fusion. Soulforge Fusion is a CCG, collectible card game, kind of on par with Keyforge, or kind of Keyforge-esque in what it does, in the fact that in this box, you're going to get 4 different decks from 4 different factions. So there's green, red, purple, and blue. And in each one, you're going to get a deck of each of those, and every deck is different that's ever created. Every single one is different. It has a different um, Forgeborn, which is like your hero, and then the 10 cards in there are different. So, what makes this game my number 2? What makes this game my number 2 is I really liked Keyforge. Keyforge, everyone has a different deck, but with Keyforge, the problem is if you don't get, if your deck isn't amazing, it's not going to be amazing. It's never going to be amazing. It just is what it is. With Soulforge, you're going to combine 2 decks together. So you could have a deck that might not seem that great, but it might have cards that synergize with another deck really well, which can turn both of those into like a real awesome, an awesome deck. So the ability to have a little bit of creativity and not just be stuck with exactly what's in the box, I think is a huge, huge upgrade to Keyforge. The next thing that it does is the upgrading system in the game. The upgrading system is whenever you play a card, whether it's a spell or a creature, that's all there is in the game, is spells and creatures at this point. You're going to play a creature, you're going to play it onto the board. And you're going to take the level 2 of that creature, and you're going to put it in your discard. So once your deck gets cycled, now you're going to potentially start seeing that level 2, which is just a better version of the level 1 creature. And then there's a level 3 of that. Level 3 is the max level. So level 3 is like your ultimate tier of that creature or spell. And they just get better and better and better. So your stuff gets better, your deck gets better. The combat system in it is great. It's a 5-lane combat system. So each person has 50 health, and you're trying to use creatures and spells to get your opponent's health down to 0. But there's 5 lanes of combat going on. So you're placing your creatures in lanes to try and get them to attack, and they, and then you have defenders, and you have certain abilities that can move them, or you have certain abilities that can kill the enemy, and it's just really good. But that combination of being able to mix and match the decks together and the upgrading system would have made this game so much fun for me. It's so much fun. I love it every time I play it. I think it's fantastic and interesting. Yeah, but the problem is this is what they give you in the base box. These are the play mats that you're going to use. These are the paper. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, it's so great. This is your mat that you're playing with. Woohoo. And it's functional. That's fine. Then they give you these little counters for your health, because your health and attack, when it changes, it's there for good. Health, if you have 8 health, you hit for 6, you go down to 2, but it's permanent. So you have to track that. You have to constantly track that, and they give you these little paper trackers that are trash. There's no instructions in the game, so I had to print out my instructions because I hate going online to look up instructions. Put a flippin' book in your starter kit so that you can have people who know how to play the game. But what I did is I liked it so much, I went and I got the neoprene play mats for it, and they're good, and now I'm happy. And yeah, I had to spend more money, but I don't care because I think the game is friggin' great. And I still like Keyforge with this, man. This puts, it doesn't bury Keyforge for me because I'll still play Keyforge and be fine with it, but I will play Soulforge, given the choice, 10 times out of 10 because I just think it's fantastic. So anyway, Soulforge Fusion is my number 2, despite its best efforts to try and be terrible. So take that for what it's worth. All right, number one is another big one. It's another big game. It's another lots of plastic, and it's another whole bunch of fun. It is Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape. I love this game. This game is phenomenal. So I did not play Massive Darkness 1. I heard Massive Darkness 1 had a lot of issues. I don't care. I didn't play it. I don't care. Massive Darkness 2 is just a box full of fun. It's a dungeon crawl. It is straight up dungeon crawl. That's what it does. You build a map tile. You build a tile out of maps. You pick your hero. You run around. You kill stuff. You level up. You get items. You you get better and things happen. What does Massive Darkness 2 do that makes it so good, in my opinion? First of all, the character classes are all different. Every single class that you pick, there's going to be multiple characters within that class. So if you pick a druid, there's going to be 2 or 3 druids to choose from. If you pick a barbarian, there's going to be 2 or 3 barbarians that have slightly different stats, different special abilities. So that's one. But then they all operate completely differently. So you might have a rogue that uses a bag building technique. You might have your ranger uses a press your luck type situation. Your bard uses like different tones and song notes that you have to like put in, raise your pitch and things like that to get to cast the proper spells. Whew, it's good. And there's so many different classes. There's like 12 different classes. I kickstarted this one and I came in at the base level +1. But if you bought the base level Kickstarter of this game, in this box, there is enough. There is enough to last you. The other thing this thing does is a lot of times when you back a Kickstarter, you get a whole bunch of extra stuff and you don't use it. This game, you use it because you're drawing random creatures that are coming out, and you're just drawn from a deck of cards, so any of them could come out. I have seen all the different creatures come out. I've seen punicorns, I've seen gargoyles, skeletons, zombies, everything. Like, they all show up because they're just random and they're coming at you from left and right. Then there's bigger monsters like that come out, and like, whew. So I did get a couple upgrades for. Well, I started painting it, so like we got, like, there's one of your big old baddies who's gonna come after you at some point. I got the pillars and chests upgrade for it because treasure chests you can just use all the time. But a very simple upgrade that I think is fun. I think it adds a little bit. I got these doors. They were like $2 a piece on eBay. But like, so you just throw these up because there's doorways in there. And so now you got these cool doors that like, and it just adds a little bit. But already, like, the game itself is really, really good. And I got the expansion. So typically, it's a self-contained mission or self-contained dungeon. You are running. Here's your objective. Go do it. And so it's going to take you from level 1 to possibly up to level 5 in this isolated situation, and then you're done. And then you play the next one. You can bring in new characters, bring whatever. It doesn't matter. Or I got, which is also the campaign, which can take you all the way to level 10, but it slows down your leveling process. But you're going to get to see those extra level, because every time you level, you get an ability for your class. Who doesn't like that? And there's multiple abilities, so you can spec your way differently. You can spec a mage more aggressive or more supportive. Your barbarian could be more movement or like, everything is customizable like within it. But then if you do this campaign, it gets you all the way up to level 10. So you got those level 6 through 10 more abilities that you can unlock. I think I have not gotten past level. I think I'm on level 3 right now during my campaign. But yeah, man, Massive Darkness 2. I think some would argue, and some probably could argue very easily, that I think one of the main issues with Massive Darkness 1 is that it wasn't very difficult. So far, I think you could argue with this too that it might be too easy, but I don't care because I'm having so much fun with the game that I don't always have to have my games be the most difficult thing. It's also very, very easy to scale this if you feel like it's too easy for you. Like, you just start your monsters 1 level higher or whatever. You could very easily scale this. If some people are, well, you shouldn't have to scale it. I don't care. It's flippin' fun. Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape, my number 1 of 2022. Also, actually a 2022 game, so pump for me. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much, man. If you've made it this far, congratulations to you, because I've talked for a long time about a lot of flippin' awesome games that I played in 2022. Thank you so much. I love you. You can have 50 points. 50 points for watching this far. Put it in the comments. Have fun, play games, and keep on keeping on out there. Bye!